You know, my brothers and sisters, one of the biggest problems today is that people are trying so hard to be liked by everyone, and in the process, they end up losing themselves, their faith, and even their peace of mind. You can't make everyone happy. Even Allah Almighty, the creator of the heavens and the earth, not everyone is pleased with him. Do you think you can please the whole world? Impossible, you can't please everyone. This is a truth that many of us know, but very few of us are able to live by. In our daily lives, there is often this hidden pressure inside us to be accepted, to be liked, and to be praised by people around us. It begins when we are young and we crave approval from our parents and teachers, and it continues when we grow older and want to be admired by our peers, respected by our colleagues, and validated by society. Human beings naturally seek love and acceptance, but when this becomes the driving force of our existence, we begin to fall into a trap that steals our peace of mind and even our relationship with Allah. No matter how much effort you put in, no matter how kind or generous or accommodating you are, there will always be someone who is not happy with you. If we reflect carefully, we realize that even Allah, the most merciful, the most just, the one who provides for everyone, is not universally appreciated. Think about it. Allah gives life to all, sustenance to all, protection to all, yet there are people who deny him, insult him, reject his signs, and mock his religion. If the Creator himself is not free from rejection, do you and I really think we will be able to earn universal approval? The Qur'an mentions clearly that those who do not believe will never be satisfied until you leave your principles and follow their way. This means that no matter how much you try to bend and adjust to please others, someone will always find fault. It is a race that has no finish line. Look at the life of the Prophet Muhammad (FDFA). He was known even before prophethood as Al-Amin, the trustworthy, the honest one. His community respected him so much that they would leave their valuables with him for safekeeping. After he received revelation, he spoke nothing but truth. He delivered nothing but mercy. He prayed for his enemies. He forgave those who harmed him, and he showed the best of character. If kindness and sincerity could win over everyone, then surely the Prophet (FDFA) would have been loved by all. But was that the case? No. Many mocked him, some called him a sorcerer, others accused him of being a poet or madman, and some even plotted to kill him. What does that teach us? It shows that no matter how good you are, there will always be people who dislike you, misunderstand you, or oppose you. When you realize this, you begin to see how futile it is to keep chasing after people's smiles and approval. If you make a decision that pleases one person, another will be upset. If you change yourself to win the approval of one group, another group will look down on you. It is a cycle that leaves you exhausted. Worse than that, it can leave you spiritually bankrupt because you end up changing your deen, your principles, and your values just to fit into the expectations of others. This is why many people feel empty inside even when they are liked outwardly, because deep down they know that they are living for the wrong audience. In Islam, our priority is clear. The pleasure of Allah comes first. People's opinions will always differ, but Allah's judgment is the only one that truly matters. On the day of judgment, no one will come to save you based on how much they liked you. Your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers, even your own family members will not be able to protect you from Allah's questioning. Their approval will not weigh a single atom's weight on the scale. What will matter is whether Allah is pleased with you. That is the focus of a believer. When you stop trying to please everyone, you gain freedom. You no longer need to twist yourself into shapes just to fit into someone else's idea of you. You no longer live with anxiety about who approves of you and who doesn't. Instead, you live with clarity. Is Allah happy with what I am doing? If yes, then it does not matter who frowns or who complains. If no, then no amount of worldly applause will help you. That clarity gives peace, strength, and confidence. Of course, this does not mean we should be rude, arrogant, or dismissive. Islam still teaches us to be kind, merciful, and respectful. But kindness does not equal people pleasing. Respect does not equal compromising our values. Being polite is different from surrendering your identity. The Prophet was the perfect balance. He was gentle and loving, but firm in his principles. He forgave when forgiveness was noble, but he stood for truth when compromise meant dishonor. He did not chase after approval, but approval came naturally from those whose hearts recognized goodness. There is also wisdom in realizing that people's hearts are not in your control. Today someone might love you, tomorrow the same person may dislike you. Praise and criticism are both temporary. If you live for them, you will constantly rise and fall with their changing moods. But if you live for Allah's pleasure, you are anchored, you are steady, because Allah's approval is consistent and everlasting for those who are sincere. This is why scholars often remind us, work for the eternal audience of one, not the temporary audience of many. So, when you catch yourself worrying about who likes you, or when you feel tempted to compromise your deen just to avoid criticism, remind yourself of this reality: you can't please everyone. Even Allah, the most perfect, is denied and rejected by some. Even his messenger letter, the most noble of creation, was opposed and hated by some. So who are we to expect universal applause? Let go of this impossible pursuit. Be sincere with Allah, be respectful with people, but never bend your faith for the sake of acceptance. The approval of people fades away, but the approval of Allah stays with you in this world and the next. That is where true peace lies. Islam teaches us kindness, mercy, and compassion. This is a fact that no one can deny because it is deeply rooted in the Qur'an and the Sunnah. The Prophet Muhammad was sent as a mercy to mankind, and over again the Qur'an calls on believers to show patience, forgiveness, and generosity. But many people misunderstand what Islamic kindness really means. They think it is about being soft in every situation, silent in the face of wrong, or compromising faith so that no one gets upset. That is not kindness in Islam. That is weakness and sometimes even betrayal of our own values. True kindness in Islam is always tied to principles. It is never divorced from truth and justice. If you look at the life of the Prophet he was undoubtedly the most merciful human being. He forgave his enemies, he helped the poor, he was gentle with children, and he showed respect to everyone regardless of their background. But at the same time, he never allowed kindness to override the commands of Allah. He never said, I will stop teaching Taw 5 D so that people won't be offended. He never agreed to share idols in the Kaaba just to make the Quraysh happy. He never watered down the message so that people would applaud him. His kindness was always principled. It was within the framework of the Deen, not outside of it. This is an important lesson for us today because many of us fall into the trap of thinking that being nice means avoiding confrontation, avoiding honesty, and avoiding truth. Sometimes we stay silent when someone mocks the religion because we don't want to appear strict. Sometimes we participate in gatherings filled with sin because we don't want to be labeled boring or antisocial. Sometimes we laugh along at jokes that belittle Islam because we fear being called extreme. In these situations, what we are doing is not kindness. It is compromising our faith for the sake of people's comfort. Islam never told us to do this. The Quran makes it clear. We are a people of justice. Justice sometimes requires that you speak up, even if it is uncomfortable, even if people accuse you of being harsh. The Prophet _Dawah said, "The best jihad is a word of truth in front of a tyrant ruler." Notice that he didn't say the best jihad is to stay quiet so that you don't offend the ruler. He said the best is to speak the truth. That is real kindness because it serves people's long-term benefit, not their short-term comfort. If you let someone live in error and never guide them because you are scared of upsetting them, you are not being kind. You are letting them drown while you watch silently from the shore. Principled kindness also means being fair in our dealings, even if it goes against our personal interest. If someone entrusts us with wealth, we must return it honestly. If someone wrongs us, we can forgive, but forgiveness must not turn into allowing oppression to continue. There is a balance. Islam teaches us to be merciful, but not at the cost of justice. If someone repeatedly harms others, and you keep forgiving without setting boundaries, you are enabling oppression. That is not kindness, it is irresponsibility. Think about how the Prophet _Dawah dealt with the Quraysh in Makkah. For years they mocked him, insulted him, and tortured his followers. He showed patience and kindness throughout. But when he migrated to Medina and built a community, he did not allow anyone to trample over the laws of Allah. The hypocrites who tried to stir division were exposed. The Jewish tribes who repeatedly broke their treaties were dealt with firmly. Yet when he conquered Makkah, he forgave his enemies in an incredible display of mercy. Why was that forgiveness powerful? Because it was not weakness. It came after justice had been established and after truth had prevailed. It was a forgiveness rooted in strength, not fear. For Muslims today, this is a crucial reminder. We live in societies where people often pressure us to abandon parts of our Deen in the name of tolerance and kindness. We are told to accept everything, to approve of everything, and to stay silent about things that clearly go against the teachings of Islam. Many Muslims, wanting to appear nice, end up diluting their faith. They say things that are not true, they attend events that contradict Islam, and they promote ideologies that have no place in the Qur'an and Sunnah, all because they do not want to be disliked. But what is the result? They may gain temporary approval, but they lose Allah's pleasure. This is not kindness, it is disobedience disguised as politeness. True kindness is not about pleasing everyone. True kindness is about guiding people with mercy, helping them with sincerity, and standing with justice even when it is hard. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is say no. If your friend invites you to a gathering filled with haram, you refuse. You might hurt their feelings in the moment, but you are showing them that some lines cannot be crossed. If your child demands something harmful, you stop them. They may be upset, but you are protecting them with love. If society pushes you to accept what Allah has forbidden, you stand firm. They may call you intolerant, but you are actually being true to your Creator and preserving your integrity. That is real kindness. The reality is that Islam's vision of kindness is deeper than the shallow version promoted by the world today. The world tells you, be nice so people will like you. Islam tells you, be kind for the sake of Allah, even if people dislike you. The world tells you, compromise to avoid conflict. Islam tells you, stand firm with justice because injustice destroys societies. The world tells you, smile and stay quiet. Islam tells you, smile, yes, but speak truth when silence leads to harm. If we truly internalize this principle, we will find that our kindness gains real value. It will not be fake, it will not be weak, and it will not be temporary. It will be sincere, principled, and lasting. People may disagree with us, they may even dislike us, but deep down they will respect us. because human beings respect those who live by their principles. More importantly, Allah will be pleased with us. And that, in the end, is the only approval that matters. Seeking people's approval is like running after a shadow. You chase it endlessly, but you never catch it. This is one of the most draining pursuits a human being can fall into, and it is something Islam warns us against. The Qur'an is clear in describing that some groups will never be satisfied with the believer until the believer abandons his deen and adopts their ways. That means no matter how much you try to win their approval, by changing your speech, your dress, your practices, or even your beliefs, it will never be enough. There will always be one more thing they demand from you, one more compromise they expect, one more value they want you to give up. And if you surrender to these demands, you end up losing yourself, losing your integrity, and losing your connection with Allah, while still not securing their complete approval. This endless chase is not new. The Prophet Muhammad faced the same situation in Makkah. The Quraysh did not like his message of monotheism, but they didn't deny his character or his honesty. They respected him as Al-Amin, the trustworthy. Still, they pressured him. They said, "Worship our idols for 1 year, and we will worship your God for 1 year." What were they asking for? A compromise, a little bending of the truth, a small adjustment to make everyone happy. But Allah revealed clear verses rejecting this. The Prophet was commanded to say, "For you is your religion and for me is mine." That was a bold statement of principle. I will not change my faith to please you. If pleasing people meant displeasing Allah, it was not an option. Now, think about our lives today. We live in a time where people crave approval like oxygen. Social media has made it worse. People measure their worth in likes, comments, and followers. The youth especially feel pressured to dress a certain way, talk a certain way, or behave in ways that win popularity. Some even abandon their prayers, their modesty, and their Islamic identity just to fit in with a crowd. But even after doing all that, are they truly accepted? Usually not, because once you compromise, people realize they can keep demanding more. You gave up your values for them once, so why not again? And this cycle keeps going until you have given up so much that you no longer recognize yourself. The Qur'an says, "And never will the Jews or the Christians be pleased with you until you follow their way." This verse is not about labeling groups. It is about highlighting a principle. If you try to live for others' approval at the cost of your deen, you will never reach the finish line. Their approval is conditional on you abandoning your faith, so the believer must draw a line. Yes, we live with respect and kindness toward all, but we do not give up what Allah has commanded us. We don't water down our deen just because society demands it. If we stand firm, some will dislike us, but many will secretly admire our strength. If we keep compromising, people may praise us temporarily, but we lose their respect and Allah's pleasure. There is also a psychological cost to this endless pursuit. People who live for approval are never at peace. They are constantly anxious about what others think of them. Did I say the right thing? Do they like me? Did I offend anyone? Am I accepted? They keep editing themselves, adjusting their behavior, and suppressing their true identity just to avoid criticism. This is exhausting. It drains the soul, and the saddest part is, no matter how much effort they make, someone will still find fault. Someone will still dislike them. Someone will still spread rumors or make judgments. Because human beings are not consistent, opinions change, likes and dislikes shift, and no one can ever guarantee permanent approval. Contrast this with a person who seeks only Allah's approval. Such a person is steady, calm, and confident. They know that if Allah is pleased, that is enough. They are not reckless or harsh, they still show good manners, but they don't bend their principles for the sake of applause. If people like them, alhamdulillah. If people don't, it doesn't shake them. Their anchor is Allah, not the fluctuating opinions of society. This kind of person walks with dignity. They don't run after the shadow of approval. They walk toward the light of truth. The Prophet they once said that whoever seeks Allah's pleasure, even if it displeases people, Allah will protect him from the harm of people. And whoever seeks people's pleasure at the cost of Allah's displeasure, Allah will leave him to the people. That is a profound lesson. If you live for people's approval, Allah withdraws his support, and you will find yourself endlessly chasing something you can never hold. But if you live for Allah's approval, He places acceptance for you in the hearts of people, often without you even trying. We see this lesson play out in history. Think of the companions of the Prophet Dawah. They were insulted, mocked, and tortured for their faith, yet they stood firm. Did everyone in their time like them? No, but today, across the globe, millions of people love them, pray for them, and see them as role models. Their names are remembered with honor because they lived for Allah's pleasure, not people's applause. Compare that to leaders and individuals who bent their morals to win approval in their time. They may have been praised temporarily, but history forgot them or remembered them with shame. The reality is, trying to please everyone is a losing strategy. You end up pleasing no one, not even yourself. It is better to stand firm, live with sincerity, and seek Allah's approval. That way, you are at peace internally, because you know where your loyalty lies. You are also respected by people who value integrity, because deep down everyone admires a person who stands by their principles, even if they disagree with them. So, let go of the exhausting chase. Stop running after shadows. Understand that no amount of compromise will make everyone love you. Accept that criticism is part of life. Even prophets, the best of creation, were criticized. What makes us think we can escape it? What we can do is choose whose approval matters most. And for a believer, there is only one answer: the approval of Allah. That is the approval that brings peace in this world and salvation in the next. My beloved brothers and sisters, life is too short to waste it trying to make everyone happy. The truth is simple: you will never succeed in pleasing all of creation. Even the most perfect of creation, the Prophet Muhammad Dawah, faced insults, rejection, and hatred despite his unmatched kindness and honesty. So how can you and I expect to escape criticism? Islam does not call us to be harsh, nor does it call us to be people pleasers. It calls us to be principled. It calls us to be merciful, but firm upon the truth. It calls us to be kind, but never at the cost of our Deen. The approval of people is temporary and unreliable, but the approval of Allah is eternal and priceless. So stop exhausting yourself trying to win the world. Instead, focus your energy on winning the pleasure of Allah. Be sincere, be just, be compassionate, but remain steadfast on your values. Some will admire you, others will dislike you. That is life. What matters is that your heart is connected to Allah, and your path is firm upon His guidance. Remember, when you return to your grave, no one's applause will follow you. No one's opinion will save you. The only thing that will matter is, did Allah accept you? Did Allah love you? That is the real success. May Allah make us among those who live for His pleasure, speak the truth with wisdom, and meet Him with hearts that are sincere. Amen.